If we look at Alfonso Cuarón's Gravity, we'll see that he focuses in the first act of showing how ordinary Sandra Bullock is. When she first spins off and is untethered from George Clooney's character, she's terrified, as we all would be. She's not capable of the situation. When then she is tethered and all the other characters are killed and she truly is alone, we now, coming off of our act one of knowing how ordinary she is, watches her rise to the occasion. We watch her grow into being someone who does have the capability that she once did not have. And that's what made that Gravity a stronger film. Looking at its character arc, we can see that it focused the way a superhero story arc should focus on seeing the ordinariness of the character and watching them rise above. So then even when we come from their dark night of the soul, what we really want to see is them rising, that moment of enlightenment, focusing on how that enlightenment must grow them out of being ordinary into the extraordinary. Ultimately, the collective unconscious that we're expressing in the superhero storyline is that we all can rise to the occasion. We all can start out ordinary and become more than we ever thought we would be. So these are the story arcs that Blake Snyder goes through. They are not genres, they are story arcs. I want you to be able to understand the story arcs as separate from genres, being able to identify a story arc and then being able to identify its genre and properly place it in a genre versus a story arc. And then use that tool in your own writing to find out and to see where the onus of your writing must be. In Monster, the onus is in really showing that this monster can destroy the world that exists. In Golden Fleece, the onus in showing that the object that the characters are going after truly will make the main character invincible. Bottle, the out of the bottle, is showing that the transformation that the character seeks is temporary, and they must come to understand that that transformation has to come from inside of them, not out of a temporary mechanism, whether it's magic or science that made it so. Dude with the problem is that your main character, the onus is upon you to show that the problem is life or death. In Space Odyssey 2000, Stanley Kubrick successfully shows us that our main character will die if he doesn't handle the problem of a malfunctioning computer on his ship. Donnie Darko, we really understand the onus of the problem of knowing that it's the end of the world, knowing what day the end of the world is and what you do with that day, how that drives you insane and how you maintain your insanity throughout it. Rites of passage, your onus is to develop many rites that your character must go through, many tasks your character must go through, moving from a place of childhood to a place of adulthood, as we see in The Devil Wears Prada and as Guillermo del Toro does in Pan's Labyrinth. Buddy love, it's to show that these two characters that are in tension with each other must commit, that are in love, that face trials and tribulations that are difficult, but it's only when the two of them are together that they're able to pass through it. Will they then commit their love to each other? That's what we're looking at in Buddy Love. That's where your onus lies, is in developing your characters, developing their flaws to where each one of them answers the next flaw, to where they work like a system in symbiosis. Why done it? We're focusing on why. So as you're going through your call to action, as you're going through your first and last obstacles, you're looking at the character delving deeper in, and each obstacle stopping them from understanding why something has happened. Fool triumphant, your fool is not up for the task, and in his naivete, in him not being up for it, is the very way that he becomes triumphant. His flaw is his advantage. Institutionalized is a person that has to learn how to take on the codes, the modes of behavior of an institution that he is outside of. So when you're developing your character, the onus and the focus is making that character outside, be an outsider, and then put them inside this institution. Then having them take on, almost put on a costume of what the institution expects out of them. Behaving, speaking, walking, talking a certain way so that they can fit in for the institution, and then making them have the choice or bringing them to the choice of whether they want to stay in the institution or whether they would leave. And superhero, your character is being called to do, your ordinary character is being called to do an extraordinary thing. And that's where you're focusing. As you're developing your character, you're looking at how to show and display them as an ordinary character. That's how we use Blake Snyder's story arcs as tools for writing. Thank you.